Hi everyone, my name is Luke. Painting has been an immense passion for me since I was a little kid, and I'd always wanted to become a painter, but not anymore. I'd like to share this story that changed my life in a way that I never could have imagined. My father owns a little art gallery in the town that we live in. He taught me to love Renaissance painters at a very young age, and also to admire modern artists whose work he exhibits and sells. One day, as my dad was doing the inventory in his gallery, he discovered a painting that he had not seen before. When he checked it, he saw that it was on his list under the title, The Little Prank, but the name of the author was missing. So, he hung the mysterious painting among the other works, hoping that the artist would reveal himself. A few days later, Mom, my little brother Johnny, and I arrived at the gallery to pick up my dad because we had planned to have dinner together at a restaurant. He was with clients, so we wandered around the place while he finished. Johnny is 6, and he never seemed interested in any of the works of art that my dad was selling. That's why I got a bit surprised when I saw him standing in front of a painting of a little boy, around my brother's age, but a little overweight. He had short curly hair and was dressed in something that seemed to be a long robe, in the Roman style. The boy was holding his hands behind his back and had this weird smile on his face. I checked the title of the painting, and it was The Little Prank. So one might think it was just a mischievous kid who was up to no good. But there was a look in his eyes that I didn't like. I don't know how to describe it, but it was a little bit evil. When my dad finally came to say he was ready to leave, Johnny, who had been standing silently by my side the whole time that I was looking at the painting, looked at him and said, "Dad, can I have this painting?" Dad laughed, amused, and said no. As time passed, Johnny took every opportunity to beg our dad to give him the painting. My parents were surprised about his sudden interest in art, and after several days of begging, they agreed and hung the painting in Johnny's room. As days passed, I started to notice that Johnny was changing. He used to follow me everywhere and ask me to play video games and football. But now, he barely came out of his room and spent a lot of time with the door closed. Whenever I passed by his door, I could hear him talking and laughing. And when I asked him who he was talking to, he would say he was with his friend Nero. I asked who Nero was, and he pointed at the kid in the painting. My parents didn't pay very much attention to his behavior, since Johnny had always been a kid with a very rich imagination. But I felt like there was something wrong, and decided to observe my little brother a little bit closer. The next day, as I arrived home from school, I saw him in the garden, sitting under a tree. It was refreshing to see that he was not locked in his room. But as I approached the window, I saw something that paralyzed me. Johnny had a little light brown bird in his hands, and he was plucking the feathers off the poor animal, who was chirping in pain. I ran outside. Johnny looked at me for a second, and then continued as if nothing abnormal was happening. I had to save that poor little bird from him. "Why are you doing this?" I asked him. "Well, it's fun," was his reply as he stood up and walked toward the house. Then I heard him giggling in an evil sort of way. A couple of days later, as I was passing by, I saw him checking the bathroom cabinet. He looked at me and said, "Have you seen the alcohol?" "Did you get hurt?" I answered. "No, I hate caterpillars, and I want to set the ones that are on my window on fire." I'd had enough. I immediately told my parents what was happening, and even though they lectured Johnny, they didn't give it much more thought. But I knew that this was not my loving little brother. He had changed the day that damn painting was hung in his room. That night, I couldn't sleep. Then, I heard a noise and got up. There was a light on in the bathroom. The cabinet door was open, and I remembered what Johnny had said about the caterpillars, so I rushed to his room. I entered just in time to see him pouring alcohol all over the curtains on his window. In the bed, there was a box of matches. He was about to set his room and maybe the whole house on fire. I yelled to my parents. They came in the room and asked Johnny for an explanation that I could not even listen to because I was too upset to pay attention. Everything calmed down, and my parents and I left Johnny's room. But I went back to try to talk to him and find out why he was acting so strange. I opened the door, and he was in front of the painting saying, so I'll try again tomorrow. I got furious and took the painting off the wall as Johnny started to scream and tried to stop me. While we were fighting, the painting fell to the floor and the frame broke. I picked the painting up and saw that there was an image on the reverse side. It was the back of the kid in the original painting, and he had a little torch in his hands. And in the near horizon, there was a house that had been set on fire. I was petrified. That boy wanted my brother to set our house on fire, just like he had done with the one in the painting. I took the painting to my room to try to think about what to do with it. My parents would never believe me, so in the morning, as I left for school, I took it with me and got rid of it in a trash can in a neighborhood far away from mine. Johnny complained to my dad that I had taken the painting out of his room, and when Dad asked me, I told him I broke it by accident and that I put it in the trash. My dad got really angry and asked why I had done that with a piece of artwork. I said nothing as he was yelling at me, and then he grounded me for 2 weeks. I accepted this punishment without complaining because I was sure that I had saved my brother from that evil boy in the painting. And I was right, because as the days passed, Johnny, little by little, turned into a nice and loving boy again. The final weekend of my punishment, I was watching TV while my friends were at the movies. I was zapping between channels when some live breaking news caught my attention. I recognized the neighborhood. It was where I had gotten rid of the painting. The anchorman, who was live on the scene, was reporting a house on fire. Behind the man, there was a little boy, around 6 years old, with a box of matches in his hands. He was staring at the TV camera with a sinister smile on his face.